Hello everyone, Lame African Gamer here. Hopefully you guys are doing great. So today I wanted to make a short video going over the best 3 legends you want to be playing, especially during the current state of Apex, as it is pretty competitive and really sweaty. And these are the 3 best legends that you want to technically main in order to get as many wins and kills as possible. Now before I continue, if you are new and you enjoy Apex Legends and Call of Duty content, please consider subscribing as I am very close to 100 subs. And also it's completely free and harmless, so there's really no reason not to. Now let's get into the content. So currently we are at Season 8 of Apex Legends, and every season following up to Season 8, we have seen a new legend come in. And this is important because it positively inflicted the meta, so with a new legend, the meta changes in one way or another, positively of course. And the main question from that arises, who is the best legend? Who's the best to get kills with? Who's the best to win with? These are questions that are easy to answer for me, as I've played Apex for quite a while and I can really decipher between the easier to use legends and the harder to use legends. But at the end of the day, this video is more of an opinion on my side, and if you do not enjoy these characters, don't go on and hate me or hate others about it, because it's opinion and it's playstyle at the end of the day. Now, I chose these 3 legends because in my book, when I started off, they were the easiest to learn, they were the quickest I could get many wins with, and they were also the easiest I can get kills with. And honestly, they play very easy in newer players, old players, doesn't matter. When you play these characters, you are going to rack wins, period. Now let's get into the first character. So for number 3, I actually chose Octane, and before I get into his abilities, I want to go over specifically why. Now, at the current state of Apex, he is the fastest to use legend. He's the most fast paced, mainly because of his stim ability, which I'll go over later in the video. But quite honestly, from what I've heard, he's the best feeling legend, not only because he's the fastest, but also because you can push with him very easily, and honestly it feels so much more confidence. You feel a lot more confident pushing enemies with Octane than you would with, let's say, Lifeline or Pathfinder or Bloodhound, for example, simply because he's the fastest and he's the best feeling. Now for Octane's abilities, his passive is called Swift Mend, and that's where while you don't take damage, he will restore health over time. His tactical is Adrenaline Junkie, which whenever he stims, he moves 30% faster for 6 seconds, but unfortunately that costs 10% health, and that in my opinion is completely useless because of his passive ability, where he can just restore that 10% health in a matter of seconds. Now finally, his ultimate ability would be Launchpad, and this is one of the best ultimate abilities out of all the legends in my opinion, simply because you can attack and push enemies if you'd like with it, or if you're in trouble you can get out of it. And ultimately, I mean, you can get the high ground with this also, and it's very versatile and you can use it in many different ways, which is why it's a great ultimate ability, and that's really why Octane is up here at number 3. Now for number 2, I have Lifeline, and currently Lifeline is at such a good state when it comes to her abilities that she's just way too easy to use in my opinion, and quite honestly she's at a really good state right now. So now for Lifeline's abilities, in my opinion she has one of the best mashup of abilities, making her one of the more easier to use, but in this case her passive ability is called Combat Medic, and this is renamed to Combat Revive. But this is where she can deploy Doc, which is her main drone, to revive teammates. And Doc will deploy a shield and revive Lifeline's teammate at the same time, meaning not only will the Lifeline be free to shoot at enemies, but so the Doc will drop out a shield, making the teammate who's getting revived completely safe. And this is a super annoying passive to go against, and this is the strongest passive in Apex Legends as a whole. Now for her tactical, she has a Doc heal drone, and this is where you can heal your teammates and heal yourself with this Doc, and it's like just healing your base health, not your shields. So it's kind of like a med kit, but it takes just a little longer. Now finally, her main ability, or her tactical ability, would be a airdrop or care package. And this is not as good as the in-game care package, obviously, because if it was, she would be a little too overpowered. But in this, you can get a bunch of health gear like shields, shield cells. You can also get brand new, armor, like purple armors, what I've gotten like many times in a row. And unfortunately you don't get weapons in this, but it is what it is. Now before I get to the number 1 spot, I'm going to give you guys 2 honorable mentions, the first being Caustic. Now the main reason I didn't put Caustic on the main list is simply because of the fact that he's gotten a nerf not too long ago, which made him slightly worse, and if you are decent at Apex Legends, this shouldn't impact you too heavy, but he's not that easy to use anymore in my opinion. Now, if you want to use him, he's best used in my opinion as a defensive player. That's how he's pretty much made, and you want to camp out in buildings with this specific character. I was playing solos once and I was camping in a building because there were 2 enemies fighting in front of me. One of them saw me and they started charging me. I just put down a bunch of traps and I killed off, I believe, the entire squad, which was a pretty poggers moment if you ask me. Now finally, for the second honorable mention, it would be Pathfinder. Now many of you already main Pathfinder and you're perfectly okay with him, but in my opinion he doesn't hold up to these legends. He's not as fast as Octane, he doesn't offer much like Lifeline, and the last legend outbeats him by a lot in my opinion. Now Pathfinder, he is he uses a grappling hook to get around, and he is very well a movable character. He's very mobile and I like that about him, and I still play him here and there, but from just statistics and just simply playing him against these other characters, he's not as good in my opinion. Now finally, let's go over the number 1 legend that you guys should be playing. He's the easiest to use and quite honestly the best in my opinion by a long shot. This would be Bloodhound. Now in almost every single one of my gameplays, you guys will see me playing Bloodhound, and the reason why I play Bloodhound a lot is mainly because of his tracking ability. Now in any game, any first person shooter game, any third person shooter game, let alone any battle royale, you need to know where the enemies are in order for you to be positioned well enough to win the game and get as many kills as possible. And Bloodhound, in my opinion, does it the best. His passive is Tracker, and this passive allows you to see where the footsteps are of enemies and if enemies have been around not too long ago. For example, if there was a battle and if there was a battle from where you're standing, you will be able to see where the enemies went, and you could see their footsteps and how long ago they were. That's pretty powerful passive if you ask me. Now for his tactical, it's called the Eye of the Allfather, and that's where he can scan and he can see where the enemies are in a short range from him. And that is super powerful, especially during endgame, because there is no counter to this ability. Finally, his ultimate, which is one of the, if not the strongest ultimate in my opinion, which is the Beast of the Hunt. Now what happens here is once you activate it, you go like legitimately sicko mode, you run super faster, and also you can see every enemy. They're all outlined red and they are super in contrast to the black and white background, and you can see them, you can shoot at them, you can do so much with this. You can get away faster because you run faster. Honestly, this is one of the best ultimates in my book, possibly the best. And Bloodhound just plays super well. As long as you know where the enemies are, you're definitely going to win, period. With that said and done, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like, also subscribe. With that said and done, peace out.